Hello everybody, welcome back, and today let's talk rejected takeoff. And I'm going to mostly want to focus on the rejected takeoff from the first officer's perspective. From the captain's side of the house, I'm looking for the captains to give that good brief at the gate, and then during the takeoff roll, based on their brief, they're going to abide by that, whether it's a go decision or an abort. If they are going to do the rejected takeoff per their brief, then I'm looking for them to correct to that center line, manhandle the airplane to a slow roll or a stop based on the situation that has occurred and whatever they feel is appropriate. So for now, I'm going to boil the captain side of things down to that, and I'm going to more home in on the first officer's perspective. Because these things, especially the high speed, once we've hit that 72 knots and we got that logic going in where now we're hitting the spoilers, now we're getting a max auto brake experience, these things can be a blur. Things can happen so quick that if you're not well thought out as to how you're going to work this rejected takeoff, you can have that deer in the headlights look while the world is going by. There goes 80 knots. You're still kind of going, what am I supposed to be doing? And things are happening quick and you're not really contributing much at all. So let's come at it from that perspective. As the first officer, to run these well psychologically, I find it to be helpful to come in with the mindset, as soon as you realize we're in a rejected takeoff, to come in with the mindset of, I am expecting certain things. I'm expecting this, I'm expecting that. And if my expectations are not met, I'm going to open my mouth and verbalize something. All right? So let's go down the road with that a little bit. The first thing I'm going to be expecting as a first officer on the rejected takeoff is the auto brake system, that max brake experience, available for us in this rejected takeoff? It's true in the low speed regime, we haven't met the criteria to bring that max braking experience to us, but I'm still expecting a blue light there. Or in the higher speed ones, I may be getting the blue light in my max auto brake switch, and I may also be getting that flickering green as the deceleration criteria is met. I don't care. I just want the lightage to be on there, whether it's a single blue or a blue and a flickering green. That's not my expectation. My expectation is any lightage in the switch at all. I'm a happy camper because at least the system is available, given the logic of the airplane, to be part of this abort as we would expect it to be. It's when the light in that switch is out that my expectation is not met, and therefore I'm going to open my mouth. Now you have to ask yourself, why would the light in that switch not be on? Could be for two reasons. Could be intentionally, and it could be unintentionally. It could be the captain intentionally overrode the brakes and now wants to own the braking of the airplane for the remainder of this abort. In which case, no problem. We are good to go. But it could be unintentionally, and I've seen it numerous times, where the captain is startled by whatever is causing us to abort, and as part of that startle, their body tenses and they physiologically flinch, so to speak, and they bring off the auto brake system, but they may not know they brought off the auto system. And it's that particular possibility that we want to address. So from the first officer's perspective, I'm coming in expecting lightage in that switch. If I don't have any lightage going on there, I'm going to open my mouth and verbalize the reality, which is going to sound like auto brakes are off or brakes are all you. Some way to effectively communicate to the captain that any braking that's going to be done with this airplane is going to have to be them. All right? And I have found numerous cases where that was a great call out of the FO because the captain didn't realize they brought off the auto braking system. The first officer catches it, verbalizes something, and now we're running a really nice, solid abort. So that's my first expectation as first officer that I'm coming in with. It takes me way longer to talk about this than it does in reality. All right, so let's agree on that up front. The second thing I'm expecting, and it depends on the speed of the abort. Okay, so in a slow speed abort, the captain may not go reversers. He may not want reversers because we really don't need reversers. So let's agree as pilots, we're doing that pilot thing. In the low speed abort, he's not bringing our reversers. It's obvious we don't need them, so I'm still not going to open my mouth. But in the higher speed aborts, where you would expect the captain to use those reversers, we want to catch the fact if that they're not in play when you feel like we would really want them. Because occasionally I'll see captains who realize we're aborting and they make that abort decisions, but all they do is slam the thrust levers back to idle, and they do not go into the reverser region, which we would want for that particular high-speed abort. So from the FO's perspective, my second expectation is I'm going to come in expecting boxes inside of that engine arc there. I don't care about the color, but I'm going to be looking for REV in its box on both sides to be in view, because that tells me the captain has gone into the reverser region. And now I am a happy camper because we're in that high-speed abort where it's obvious we would want those reversers. I'm seeing the two reverser boxes. We are good to go. He has not just slammed it to idle, but we have in fact gone into the reverser region. I don't care about the color of the boxes. One could be green, one could be amber, both could be green. If one is green and one is amber, given the short nature of the high-speed abort, the odds of me being able to prove on that amber are effectively zero. In fact, it's highly probable that whatever you're aborting for is also causing you the amber reverser box. Again, don't care about the color. I just want to see those boxes as an indication to me that yes, we're in the high-speed regime. Yes, I would expect the captain to be going into their reverser region, and now I have visual confirmation that they have done so. All right, so that's kind of my mindset there. Don't care about the amber. I'm just happy that I'm seeing those boxes. So that's expectation number 2. And then finally, expectation number 3, also going to be tied to the speed of the abort. Low speed, I don't expect to be getting the spoilers. High speed, I do. And am I in fact getting those spoilers? So I'm going to look down here for the arrows showing that the spoilers are in fact deployed as we would expect. The thinking person might say, on the ground in an Airbus, if I move the spoiler handle aft, do I get anything? And the answer to that is yes. You always get something even on the ground. You might get 4, you might get 3, depends on which phase of flight the airplane is, but the moral of the story is if I'm not getting spoilers, and I would certainly expect them or want them, then yes, it always buys you something to move that spoiler handle back. You'll get 4 or 3, depending on what phase of flight of the airplane is in, and now we're in a better position. Like I said, it takes longer to talk about it than it is to do it. If you boil that whole discussion down, which is what I like for people to do now that we've gone into the weeds on it a little bit, it really can be simplified to this. Oh, we're aborting? My expectations are light, boxes, arrows, done. All right? I say it that way because I see too many people get mesmerized in checking their stopping issues, their stopping performance items. They'll sit there and they'll go, as they're looking over that, and it's just taking too long. 80 knots is going by and they're still over there doing that. Instead, come in with the expectation, I'm looking for lights, boxes, arrows, done. Now back up the captain and make a nice timely 80 knots call, because if they hear that 80 knots call, that may drive them to do certain things with the reversers based on whatever they want to do. But if they hear that, we're looking for that Pavlovian response. The dinner bell rings, the dog starts to drool, the 80 knot call is made, the captain will start doing the proper things regarding the reversers. All right? If they don't get the 80 knots call, hit or miss, depending on where the captain's brain is at. It depends what's happening. Is he focused on something outside? Is he maybe trying to think what's going on with the ECAM? And if he doesn't get the 80 knots call, now we may be coming to an aggressive max braking stop with the reversers still full blower, and now we're hearing compressor stalls and all that, and it's suboptimal. We don't want to be in that position where we're doing that. So the 80 knots is a great call. So after I check the stopping items, I do the 80 knots call for that Pavlovian response, and then I'm going to work my way to ATC. I'm going to just let them know, hey Tower, United 320 is aborting on the runway, maybe roll the trucks, maybe not, depends on what's going down as far as what the situation was. That's up to you. And then finally, I'm going to work my way to the remain seated. That's going to be our going in position because it's easy to reverse that. If we, a few seconds later, say release your seatbelts and get out, no problem there. But we want to control the back while we make the decision. So if you think about it, everything goes in kind of this circular trip around the cockpit. I'm going to check my stopping stuff here. I'm going to give my 80 knots call here. I'm going to work my way to ATC, make my call out, United 320 aborting on the runway, please roll the trucks or not. And then I end up here with my remain seated, remain seated. If you think of it in that kind of shape as you do it, I find that people can remember it better and go, oh yeah, I do something here, then I do something here, then I do something here, then I do something here. And it seems like it sticks better in their brain when they're surprised by one and things are going down fast. If they have it thought out that way, they are running good aborts, all right? So those are things that I think are very helpful from the first officer's perspective. Then the captain's going to have to make the decision. Are we going to do the rejected takeoff checklist? Or are we perhaps going to fight a fire first? Those decisions are going to be the captain's domain as far as what they're going to do, and then the first officer is going to abide by whatever that decision is. But hopefully that discussion helps the first officers to run better rejected takeoffs, more logically thought out, and more efficient when things are happening fast. Thanks again for watching. Hope to catch you next time.